All right. So, welcome back to my channel. Um so stop me if you've heard this one before, but a Colorado High Court to hear case against Christian baker who refused to make LGBTQ themed cake. Now, there are differences in this case, and some of them seriously annoy me. So let's get right to it. On the heels of a U.S. Supreme Court victory this summer for the... Let me try that again. On the heels of a U.S. Supreme Court victory this summer for a graphic artist who didn't want to design wedding websites for same-sex couples, Colorado's highest court said Tuesday it will now hear the case of a Christian baker who refused to make a cake celebrating a gender transition. And it gets better. It gets a lot better. The announcement by the Colorado Supreme Court is the latest development in the years-long legal saga involving Jack Phillips and LGBTQ rights. Phillips won a partial victory before the U.S. Supreme Court in 2018 after refusing to make a gay couple's wedding cake. Which, I'm sorry, but that is a famous case. This isn't an unknown case. How can someone from the LGBTQ community go to this baker, let alone ask them for any type of cake that might give away that they're part of the LGBT plus community? That makes zero sense to me. Why would you want to give this schmuck your money? I just don't understand. He later sued Autumn Scardina, a transgender woman, after Phillips and his suburban Denver bakery refused to make a pink cake with blue frosting for her birthday and to celebrate her gender transition. Okay, now, Autumn, if it's a birthday cake, just go with that. Why did you tell him that you were that to celebrate your gender transition? To bait him? Or did he just go ballistic with the pink cake with blue frosting and just freaked out? Because, why? I mean, birthday fine, but again, why would you want to give this man your money anyway? Because this is Denver. I highly doubt that this is the only cake shop. And I realize that this is a discrimination thing. And he should take her money. But at the same time, why would you want to? Anyway, Scardina, an attorney, said she brought the lawsuit to challenge the veracity of Phillips' statements that he would serve LGBTQ plus customers. Her attorney said her cake order was not a setup intended to file a lawsuit. Yet, she just made it sound like it was a setup. Now, granted, he has said before that he's willing to serve the LGBT plus community, but by that it's as long as they don't make it obvious that they're part of the community. Which again, number one, why would you do that? And number two, why would you make it obvious? And number two, why give this schmuck your money? I mean, I understand the principle of it, I do, but at the same time, why waste your time? Just bomb him with horrible reviews so he has to close. Why put your own money on the line? Offer to give him your money. I just do not see why you're doing this. Well, I mean, I do see, but I just don't think it's worth your time. The Colorado Supreme Court didn't explain how or why it made the determination to hear the case because it's discrimination. It was announced in a long list of decisions about which cases they will hear and reject. The case involves the state's anti-discrimination law that makes it illegal to refuse to provide services to people based on protected characteristics like race, religion, or sexual orientation. But it doesn't mention gender identity, which is the crux of this case. The key issue in the case is whether the cakes Phillips creates are a form of speech, and whether forcing him to make a cake with a message he does not support is a violation of his First Amendment right to free speech. Earlier this year, the Colorado Court of Appeals sided with Scardina in the case, ruling that the cake, on which Scardina did not request any writing, was not a form of speech. It also found that the state's anti-discrimination law does not violate business owners' right to practice or express their religion. Though I've had comments about, twisting what religious accommodation means, as if that means that religious accommodations that employers must give their employees somehow miraculously extends to customers. Because, you're supposed to allow for religious discrimination even though you're supposed to be a public business or something. Graphic artist Lori Smith, who is also from Colorado and is represented by the Alliance Defending Freedom, because of course she is, challenged the same law in the 303 Creative case that was decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in June. The court's conservative majority was forcing her to create websites for same-sex weddings would violate her free speech rights. Which, on the one hand, I get what she's saying, but at the same time, are you really serving the public? Because this isn't a matter of, what if a member of the KKK came to a black establishment? No, the KKK is not a protected class of citizens because you choose to be a horrible person. LGBT, no, you're born that way. So, not a choice. So, on the one hand, I get what they're saying, but on the other hand, no. We are grateful that the Colorado Supreme Court will hear Jack Phillips's case to hopefully uphold every Coloradoan's freedom to express what they believe, said Jake Warner, Phillips's Alliance Defending Freedom attorney. Jack has been targeted for years by opponents of free speech, and as the U.S. Supreme Court recently held in 303 Creative versus Alenis, no one should be forced to express messages they disagree with. What fucking message? That pink and blue do not go together? Seriously, if she didn't open her yap and say she was trans, how the holy hell would he have known? Or would he just assume that, there's pink and blue together, this must be a trans person? I don't think bigots are that smart. Or actually, no. They're actually too smart in that regard. They make up shit to justify bigotry when it's not actually warranted, so. Scardina's attorney, John McHugh, said that the 303 Creative ruling was narrow and applied only to businesses that are creating speech of their own, which the Colorado Court of Appeals had already ruled did not include Phillips's company making the cake. It's very important for businesses and the public in Colorado to understand that our anti-discrimination law still is in full force, and there is no general right to discriminate against people in Colorado if you're a business owner, McHugh said. Phillips asked the state Supreme Court to consider his appeal in April. University of Denver law professor Alan Chen said Tuesday that the Colorado Supreme Court will have to determine if baking a pink cake with blue frosting and no writing is more like designing a website or more like renting chairs. It's not like it was a trans flag here, guys. It was just pink and blue colors. This is just like the people who see a rainbow now and have a shit fit, because that must mean that they're pro LGBT or that this is pushing the LGBT agenda when it's just bright colors. The only people who are designating that the rainbow belongs to the LGBT plus community are the bigots, not the LGBT plus community. Same thing here. If it's not speech, then the only reason that Phillips is refusing to make it is because of the transgender status of his client, and that violates the law, Chen said. Now, I get that she probably told him that she's trans to get a response so she could file a lawsuit, which, despite what her lawyer is saying, is most likely what happened. However, again, I get that this is about discrimination, and his business should have tanked a long time ago for being a bigot. However, still, why would you even consider giving him your money? I mean, I just do not understand that. Scardina attempted to order her cake on the same day in 2017 that the U.S. Supreme Court announced it would hear Phillips's appeal in the wedding cake case. Okay, so this is old. Before filing her lawsuit, Scardina first filed a complaint against Phillips with the state and the Civil Rights Commission, which found probable cause that he had discriminated against her. Phillips then filed a federal lawsuit against Colorado, accusing it of crusade to crush him by pursuing the complaint. Oh, honey, if that was their intention, you would have been crushed in 2017. So, no, that isn't the point of this. The point of this is you're an asshat who discriminates. Not that they're trying to crush you because, you believe in God or something. Because Christians seem to have this, many Christians, not like this, seem to have this insistence that somehow they're victims and they're being persecuted because they can't walk over people and bully them like they want to, because I guess their Bible says they can. In March 2019, lawyers for the state and Phillips agreed to drop both cases under a settlement Scardina was not involved in. She pursued the lawsuit against Phillips and Masterpiece Cake Shop on her own. So that is all I have for that article. And, good on her. I'm glad that she's worried about discrimination. She wants to make sure that people don't hide behind religion to discriminate. And I think that's a laudable goal. But at the same time, were you really planning on giving him money? Why keep him in business? You should be review bombing him to the ends of the earth. He should not be employed as a bakery owner. He should, have to, dig ditches or something. But he shouldn't be making cakes if he's going to decide that pink and blue frosting is somehow beyond the pale. Because those colors work together. So you don't have to be trans to want to like those colors. Which is why I think that she must have told him that she's trans just to get a rise out of him. So on the one hand, I get it. On the other hand, it's like, why? You're not, you're just wasting your time. Especially with this conservative court. I don't know about the court in Colorado, but you know it's going to reach the U.S. Supreme Court if the Colorado Supreme Court does not rule the way Phillips wants them to. So I get what she's trying to do, but after the first case, when it was deemed that he's horseshit, you should have just tried to boycott him, review bomb him, whatever. Get him to shut down. But why do this? I mean, that's saying that you were willing to give him your money. And I just don't see why he deserves that. He doesn't deserve your money. He deserves to get nobody's money and have to find a different career, because where he can either discriminate to its little heart's content or, like I said, dig ditches. I do not care at this point, but he shouldn't be doing this. But anyway, with that, I've finished with this article, and I will see you guys in the next one.